Drink beer, it's good for you.
Hello and welcome to the video. In this video we'll be looking at the new Cannular can seaming system. Canning beer, be it commercial or homebrew, is certainly gaining popularity in leaps and bounds these days. I recently released a video spelling out the reasons that make canning your homebrew attractive, but let's face it, the majority of these canning machines are not exactly within reasonable financial reach. The Cannular can seaming machine seeks to offer a simple and yet very effective solution with budget in mind, so let's see how they did. For safety, the Cannular uses an Anderson style power supply and the whole unit weighs in at 18 kilos, so it's pretty sturdy stuff with its hammered sheet metal body. The main power button and control lever are positioned close to each other on the side of the unit here, which makes the main process very easy. The spacer, or the thing that you put your cans on provided, supports the 500ml can size, and this stainless steel swivel lift also has adjustment. At the top of the unit here is where the real magic happens in terms of the seaming itself, and naturally these can be fine-tuned adjustment wise to suit. I find it to be more aesthetically pleasing than many seamers I've seen, but you'll need to make your own judgments on that. It is also worth mentioning that it is more space conscious also, which is pretty handy really because space is always at a premium for most of us. To set this system up, you will need to remove the top cover and, using the manual, set the gaps between the chuck and the rollers. You will need a feeler gauge as shown here to do this, which is not part of the supplied tools. Everything else you see here is. You will also need an adjustable spanner for the top bolts on the rollers. This process takes a little trial and error, but I had mine sealing cans correctly within half an hour. I've spoken to various other people about this setup, and here are some commonly found suggestions around this. You will find these details in this video's description. You will note some subtle variation, and this is due to subtle differences that can be found in the sizing of the rollers. It should be noted that you will need to read the manual to perform the full setup correctly, and the details shown on screen relate to the examples shown in the supplied manual. Also, it is important to be aware that the manufacturer has made the following statement shown on screen now. If you are attempting to seal cans that are not supplied by them, then it could be that this alone will cause issues, unless you have a chuck or spacer that supports them. It's also vital to realise that the Cannular right out of the box is only compatible with B64 lids. Here is a diagram on screen that shows the differences between B64 and CDL, which is another common type of lid. To make life harder, there are even more types out there also. So far the brewing industry has gone more in the direction of CDL, but the homebrew use systems have gone more towards B64, so it's refreshing to know that the Cannular has also gone in this same direction. Cans for the Cannular are bought in boxes of 207. I note that More Beer in the USA sell these for just under $100 per box. This means that 25 litres worth of cans is actually less than $25. I do wonder if most would actually can an entire batch though. For the can cost and machine cost in your country, pop online and see what numbers come up. But if you can, always support your local homebrew store of course. The operation of the Cannular itself is incredibly simple. You add your can to the system here and move it up using the swivel lift. You then switch the machine on so that you have movement for seaming and position the lever forward for a few seconds first and then towards you for a few seconds afterwards. After this, you retrieve your can from the machine and set it down with familiar friends while you continue further. I've been using the Cannular for a while, and despite it still being fairly new to me, I have to say that it has been a very smooth process. The Cannular itself works very well. It is clearly very well made and is built to survive. Its cost is also greatly reduced compared to other quality seamers on the market, and it really is so very fast and easy to use to boot. So if you've already decided that you want a can seamer, then this comes well recommended considering its ease of use, build quality and price point. For those of you who are unsure, then you will have some thinking ahead of you in terms of what is on offer benefits-wise of canning in general versus the outlay and consumable cost of one of these. I guess this will be situational also. For those that want beer ready to drink cool from the fridge without taking up an entire fridge or perhaps an additional entire fridge with a kegging setup, cans offer a viable option that is practical in terms of how they can be stacked and thus the extra amount of beer that the fridge can contain. Some people also want to take large amounts of beer on the go with them, and you can certainly get more cans on the back of a truck compared to bottles, of course. Also, for those that brew larger batches or those that brew very regularly, then shelf life could certainly be an issue that cans will certainly address. Let's also not forget that a can seamer like this is also very suitable for nano breweries and can easily be operated by just one person. So there you have it, hopefully enough information to make your own informed choice. This now brings this video to a close. If you have any questions, then please let me know via YouTube or Facebook. I do hope that you found this video to be useful, interesting and enjoyable. If appropriate, then please like this video on YouTube, and if you've not done so already, then please subscribe. I regularly post new content. Happy brewing!